telling me that you are considering joining MK or wanting to work with MK. I just want you to be very clear there.
No, it's much more serious than that. I have taken after a lot of soul searching, I've taken a decision that I will be joining MK. And as I say, I'm joining MK because I believe that it is the vehicle through which we will achieve the much needed black and progressive die in the ANC or die in the EFF or even die in MK.
But your new leader believes he's still ANC though.
He is, just as I believe I'm still ANC and EFF and MK. So that's the nuanced message that I think everyone misses. When former President Zuma says, I'm a member of the ANC, but I'm also a member of MK. At first in MK, for whatever reasons you prefer each of those three organizations. But the most important thing is that we must not venerate the organizations as if they are demigods. The organization and the leaders, for that matter, will come and go. But the cause of our people must always be paramount. That is what must drive us. There was a time when former President Zuma and I were the only people who knew about this project of the formation of MK, because we had discussed after the 2022 conference of the ANC very in depth as to what needs to be done, and we had various options, and so this discussion took about 12 months. So by the time you attended the launch in December of MK, this had been a project that was in the pipeline, in the underground, as he revealed, for about 12 months.
Advocate Mpofu, I just need to get you very clear. So, were you part and parcel of the formation of Umkhonto weSizwe?
Absolutely.
Should we be surprised? No. Actually, we shouldn't be surprised. It's just shocking. But, well, maybe shocking is not even the right word. I do not know. Comrades, the People's Advocate was one of those pillars in the EFF that they trusted on, even though he was obviously in both sides. In fact, he says he's the founding father of MK. Dali Mpofu formed MK with Msholozi. And that's why in his defense in court, he insisted on that. Is it true? We don't know. Dali Mpofu spoke about a lot of things. He spoke about, he says he's also an EFF and MK member, the same way Msholozi is a ANC and member, because these things are the same. These things are the same. Let me take this call. Someone is calling me. I wanted to call you before I was shooting a podcast, and you called me when I'm shooting the podcast. You are on the podcast as we speak. Is that fine?
No, that's perfectly fine. It's not an issue.
All right. Mpomorolane, I wanted to seek your permission to record a podcast so I can capture your views on the departure of the People's Advocate. You have worked with him inside EFF for a very long time, and at some point he was involved with your own matter with the EFF. Any sentiments you want to share?
Look, since 2016, I work closely with the People's Advocate, Senior Counsel Mpofu. And one thing I'm confirming is that Dali Mpofu is an activist. He associates himself with the struggle of the vulnerable people broadly, whether it's workers, it's abahlali basemjondolo, his community struggles. This is a person who will always find himself in the struggle of the vulnerable workers. And remember, the formation of Umkhonto Wesizwe party is as a result of the persecution of majority of the black people. In turn, those are the people that we can classify them as the vulnerable people, including the president and the commander general himself, President Jacob Zuma. And it's not a surprise to me, knowing the character of the senior council coming to Umkhonto Wesizwe. I think it's long overdue. He's going to contribute immensely in this organization, especially with the struggle that MK party is going to wage moving forward.
Sure. So I'm going to ask you a question that I've asked everyone, and I will ask everyone, just for consistency. And one question is, are they leaving the party or they are leaving the leader of the party?
Look, the idea, the documents of EFF, especially economic freedom in our lifetime, if you peruse the documents, I don't think there are policies that match the standards of the EFF, in particular the founding manifesto. It's a clear guideline as to how should the African people arrive at economic freedom in our lifetime. Now, the problem is the leader of the party. You see, leaders must learn that when you're leading an organization, you're going to have diverse of people, including different ideas that perhaps you are not acclimatized to. And it's important that when people raise different views within the organization, it doesn't mean they are anti your leadership, they are anti the progress of the organization. Now, in a form of Julius Malema, you have a person who perceives himself as everything within the organization, and organizations do not operate like that. You need to hear what people are saying. You need to allow people the space to bring divergent views. That does not mean they are countering the leader of a particular organization. The difference between EFF and Umkhonto Wesizwe party, I've had a narrative that says that Malema, President Zuma, he's a dictator. He's not a dictator. There are discussions, and discussions are exhausted. I mean, if you investigate, you'll hear that when young people were not happy with the threshold of 30 years of youth league and student movement, Malema engaged in exhausted discussions to say, persuade me. If you persuade me, then I will listen to you. Not only the young people, also the veterans, the soldiers, they had different views, and I was told that Malema engaged them exhaustively to a point where they were even persuaded by the president himself. Now, in an organization, when people are venting, are raising issues, you must listen to what people are saying, because as a leader, it doesn't mean that you know everything. You are broad in your scope in understanding each and every subject matter that your members have. So in the EFF, there's no space for people to differ. I've seen people differing in MK with the approach sometimes of the National High Command, and those people are not being frowned upon. They are still members today, because we must allow engagement in the organization. So in the EFF is not there. I've been there. I've served in the whole council in the CCT. I've been the president of the EFF Students Command. So people, to answer you directly, they are leaving a leader in the form of Julius Malema, but not necessarily what the EFF stands for.
Thanks for drawing this comparison. One other question is, there's an anti-parachuting cabal that seeks to draw danger with those that are coming. And this is against what Msholozi says when he says, welcome all cadres coming into MK. Has that cabal been engaged? I know at some point people were looking for them to say, come to the fourth, let's engage you. And I've spoken to Sihle about the education that needs to be done between the new members, about comrades in the MK, the ground forces, who must understand why new members need to come, and if there's an opportunity to put capacity, these new members would also be parachuted, and I'm using that word deliberately so I don't use other words. Has that cabal that picketed in Sandton, do you know if they were ever engaged?
Yeah, look, I don't want to characterize members of Umkhonto weSizwe as cabals or factions, because I think everyone is a member of Umkhonto weSizwe, must be allowed to vent, raise their issues sharply. Whether they are correct or they are not correct, I think that should be determined by the organization, and any decision that is taken by the organization must be respected by everyone else. Now, President, the Commander General, was very clear that Umkhonto weSizwe Party, and I'm not quoting him verbatim, but he in essence said, we want 2/3 majority, right? In wanting the 2/3 majority, you can't be intimidated by capacity coming from our organizations into Umkhonto weSizwe Party. Let me give you a practical example. If, for an example, Banyaza Lisufi were to join Umkhonto weSizwe Party, it would be narrow of us as members to say that he cannot lead the MK in the province. That is just but one example that I'm giving. That we mustn't be intimidated by capacity. In fact, we must celebrate and make prize when people in the capacity of the senior council, Dali Mpofu, and many others are joining Umkhonto weSizwe. The reality of the matter is that our capacity is not the same. When we join political organizations, we join because we believe in the ideals of that organization, what the organization can deliver to the masses of South Africa. And if it happens that the powers that be in the organization deems it appropriate that such an individual or so and so must occupy a position, be it at the regional level, at the provincial level, at the national level, including the top 8, that decision must be respected because it's a decision that is taken from an informed perspective. Because at the national level, we're not speaking about the rank and file. We're speaking about people with 60 years, 20 years, 40 years of experience. Some of the challenges that we're experiencing ourselves for the first time, and they are not experiencing it for the first time. All epochs that you are seeing in MK, it is what President Zuma experienced in his entire life as a politician in the African National Congress. There's nothing that is new in President Jacob Zuma. So we must be guided by wisdom, and we must have faith and trust in our leadership that they are not just waking up and take decisions. They take decisions because they have experience, they have wisdom, they have the necessary capacity in analyzing the direction that this country must take.
Thank you very much. I'm going to give you the last question as a parting shot. It's a guessing question. Do you think Ndlozi will leave the EFF before the NPA in December?
Yeah, I want to desist from responding to hypothetical questions.
Sure.
Remember that even our national organizer, when he was interviewed in the podcast, he said some of the people, including in the CCT, knew about his departure.
True.
And many are coming. He confirmed that. So anyone who were to leave EFF and join Umkhonto weSizwe, I wouldn't be surprised. So speculating, saying before December so and so will be joining, I don't think we'll be setting the correct political precedents, because when we speak in a platform such as yours, Mesh, people listen. You have a great constituency, and because we're leaders in our own right, also people take what we say very serious. So we wouldn't want to speculate as the activists, as politicians. We always want to be factual when we are raising issues. So I wouldn't know, but if it happens, it wouldn't be a surprise.
Mpomorolane of NASA, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Commander.
Thank you.
Sure.
That was Mpomorolane. Well, if you don't know Mpomorolane, I don't know how to explain to him. You would have seen what I've done with Mpomorolane in the past. At this point, I don't even know. Should I give you snippets of the interview? Should I? Well, it's another one. Let me get this other comrade, because I generally don't want this to be a long one. Let me see. And by the way, you always blame me for speaking to people who are on the negative side of EFF. But let me tell you, there are less people who are positive EFF who want to speak to me. Number one, they are afraid. Number two, I'm just guessing, they might think that when they speak to me, it would be endorsing of another thing. And the draconian rules within the EFF maybe shuns them away. But those who support the EFF who are not members, I have tried to speak about with them. But they are few, and they are, most of them are reluctant to come. I spoke to someone who's an EFF and MK voter, and I spoke to someone who loves the EFF, who votes EFF, but is not a member of EFF. So they spoke freely. But they are few, and I cannot push them, and unfortunately I'm going to have to rely on opinions of people that you may not like. Raisibe Patricia Dumel.
Tobel.
Le kae?
A re bona le kae?
Le dikole ditaba tša the People's Advocate.
Ke tsošwa ke tsona.
We were all awakened by this big news, and I've seen on social media that it's going to get worse, because this weekend that we go into, it might signal another mass exodus. In fact, let me not say another, the biggest mass exodus that we have seen outside the ANC, of course. Let me just give an opportunity to have sentiments around this thing. How, when you woke up, what what did it feel like?
No, I'm not shocked. I saw it coming. There is a difference when people start seeing something in another way. Karen, Dali Mpofu has been with Jacob Zuma from long time. I mean, really, and then you can compare where you feel comfortable when you are with another person. Last time when I checked, Dali Mpofu was so comfortable sitting in the table of the MK, which I know Julius Malema wouldn't have accepted it or allow it. But you can see that this guy is moving. So to me today, I'm not shocked. Even I won't be shocked when Dlozi resigned. Those people are tired. With everyone that you have even interviewed about the EFF, you will know that Julius Malema is abusive. People are still going to, this is nothing, people are still going to leave. That's for sure.
So let me make a courtesy question that I'm asking you, but I know the answer. But I'm asking you because I'm going to ask everyone. Are people leaving the EFF, or people are leaving Julius Malema?
People are leaving Julius Malema. They are not leaving the EFF. The EFF is a very good organization. The policy of the EFF is very good. We love it. Some of us, we joined the EFF, not because of Julius Malema, because of the policy. But the moment you enter, you realize, no, this is not what I've joined in the beginning. Understand? So you can imagine if Floyd, someone who formed the organization, an example of Ofana Mukwena, Patrick Sindani, those people, they left. Why did they leave? They didn't leave. How can you give birth to a baby and abandon the baby? It just shows that there is a problem, a serious problem with Julius Malema, that they can never continue tolerating. That's why they leave. Let him stay with whoever that will just worship or admire him and praise him. But people are tired. People are tired.
And I want this to be a short one, because if people want to hear your opinion and your story, they'll go to the podcast that we made. This is where they'll hear your full story. So I'm doing guessing work now. Next month is the NPA. So this is their National People's Assembly, is the elective conference, and I've said in the past that I do not feel it's a necessary exercise as an observer, because it puts a lot of strain on the EFF that I don't think it's necessary, because it's limping. It does not need to perform to anyone. This is just me, but I'm asking you this question: do you think Ndlozi will leave before the NPA, or will leave after the NPA, if he will ever leave at all?
That one I'm not sure.
Okay.
You can never think, you can never know what the other person is thinking or he's planning. But the truth of the matter is that Ndlozi will not survive at the NPA. He will not be even elected, that's for sure. To maybe top 6, he won't be elected. Understand? So it's up to him. When is he leaving? Is he going to wait for embarrassment, or he will live with his confidence still intact and resign now? It's up to him.
So, yeah, it's a bit of both. I have not seen Ndlozi doing public work, addressing masses and doing anything in the public since this storm has affected the EFF. Do you think at a public mass gathering people may abuse him?
In the EFF, the members, they follow what Julius Malema is saying they must follow. So if Julius Malema approve of him to stand in front of the people and speak about the EFF, the followers, then they will applaud him, they will celebrate him. But if Julius Malema has not shown any sign of supporting Ndlozi, being against him, so they are also going to undermine him. You understand? So it depends on how Julius Malema feel about the person. If he approve of him, he's celebrating him, he's happy with him, then everybody should be happy with him. If not, then everybody is going to be against him.
Okay. Let me allow you to wake up and run with your day. It's been a very it's very early in the morning, and when we receive this, let me allow you to do your runnings as you absorb this matter of the People's Advocate. Thank you very much.
I'm not absorbing anything. Thank you very much.
Bye. Yeah, I'm going to try to get as many opinions as possible. You guys will tell us what is it that you want. At this stage, it's becoming very difficult. Let's see. Let's get Mohara. Let's get Mohara on. And by the way, I was on Twitter asking for a good story. The battalion had shared a good story about EFF donating a house, and I requested on that story to say, can I have details of this good story from the EFF, details of them handing over this house. I requested specifically to say, can I speak to a media person from EFF who's running this story. I did not ask it from one account, various accounts, and that information never came. I was not retweeted back. So I do attempts to cover good stories from the EFF. It's just that those who have good stories from the EFF do not want to share with us. And when people speak their opinions about the EFF, it's not because we choose them because they're negative. Those who have positive stories, we do try to reach out to them. It's just unfortunate we cannot control them. Mokhaga Dumela. Le kae? It's a rude awakening, or is it something that was in the pipeline? It doesn't surprise you.
Something that what?
Something that was in the pipeline, something that was obviously going to break at some point, and it doesn't surprise you.
Absolutely.
So the People's Advocate leaving the EFF, he says he was he is the founding father of the EFF, of the MK, because he conjoined this thing with Ubaba, and the EFF knew what he was doing. What's your sentiment about that?
On those ones of saying hey, we knew what he was doing, he was already gone, those are just words of people trying to comfort themselves. But the truth of the matter is that, on the other hand, yes, Comrade Dali, I mean, like, he's not degenerative like the rest of comrades. He knows how to differentiate between right and wrong. He can't stay in a sinking ship, and that, especially that sinks, not because of the policies and principles, but that things because individuals have tampered with the ideological inclination of the party, because that's the biggest problem of the EFF comrades.
So I'm going to ask you the question: are people leaving the EFF, or people that are leaving Julius Malema?
People are not leaving the EFF. I don't want to say they are leaving individuals, because I was advised very carefully to say never attack individuals, never attack people. I mean, like, we are students of Lenin, and Lenin was the most robust of revolutionaries. He didn't want us to portray things as if we're insulting people, but of course individuals also have their own flaws that are sometimes the reason why people take certain decisions.
You are a staunch supporter of Ndlozi, that we know publicly who we live outside the EFF. So I just want to ask you the question that I asked everyone: will Ndlozi leave before the NPA? You are just taking a guess. We know it's a guess. You are just...
Commissar Mbuiseni has proven to be unpredictable lately, so we don't know. And now, given the fact that there is a position of Secretary General that is vacant at the MK party, imagine what if whoever gives him that one phone call. What can happen? Because the man fits the profile. I mean, like, it's not like we wanted him to be a deputy president in the EFF because of he must be a deputy president. We saw that majority of the administrative powers of the Secretary General in the EFF are centralized within the deputy president position. So he's an SG material, that comrade of Mbuiseni. So at the MK party, he can equally get a phone call, and he's somebody who fits the profile very well. And if he leaves before the NPA, then you know, I love singing this song, saying "Mhlasibuya yo koduma kuthi."
Okay, it's a sad day, and it's early in the morning. People have not consumed this matter. It's going to be a long day. People are still going to talk about it. If you have the few engagement that you had with comrades on socials and on the phone, if you have, because like I say, it's a new story just broke, what are they saying?
They are saying, I saw someone posting that I saw this issue of Comrade Dali a long time ago. It cannot be that you are my friend, but you still are hanging out with my enemies. What are you discussing in my absence? Things like that. So it's just EFF comrades acting like prophets. You know, they love acting like all manner of things. They also love acting like they are part of decision making at some point. So it's not surprising to hear such things from them.
Now, every time there's a departure, it draws a difficulty in the progressive caucus in parliament, They had a meeting last year, Sinao says. They had a meeting and they all agreed that this progressive caucus must continue. But there are 80 T-shirts prepared for newcomers in MK coming from EFF. That is the biggest exodus of members. I mean, I've never seen 80 members leaving EFF at the same time going to MK, and it's coming this weekend. And just when I was consuming that story, Dali's story broke. Do you see the relationship continuing of the Progressive Caucus in Parliament that not only includes EFF and MK, but includes UAT and ATM?
What happens is that the EFF is not realizing this. They desperately need to be in the Progressive Caucus more than they think they don't need to. Because now, for example, let's say you leave the Progressive Caucus, you're going to join the GNU of the very same letter that you said, no, as long as it has the DA and FF plus, we're not going to come. It means you'd be what? You'd prove yourself to be somebody who's power hungry and who abandoned principle. And then let's say you don't join the GNU. It means you are going to oppose the GNU and oppose the Progressive Caucus. And the Progressive Caucus, you will not be opposing it on political reasons, but on personal and party reasons, to say we're opposing you because you are stealing our members. As if there are people who came into this world and when their mothers were preaching, then they said, you belong to the EFF, you belong to this party. People make their own decisions.
Mohara, let me allow you to go. Anything that you want to say as a parting shot regarding this matter?
You said it's a sad day. It's not a sad day. It's going to be a long day. It's not going to be sad.
I know. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thanks very much. And have a nice day.
Thank you. Sure. You heard. I don't want this to be a long one. I want to release you to go and listen to the exclusive yourself. Is it a sad day? I think it's a sad day for EFF. They may not project it that way, but I think it's a sad day for them. For someone who loves all these peer organizations, for someone who loves African parties uniting, it's a sad day for me. But why is it a sad day? Because these people are not living peacefully, and they may claim they are living peacefully. Everyone seems to say so. They asked, did you have a courtesy meeting with him just to say, I don't need to, but I just feel that I have to, because his membership had already lapsed at the time. But anyway, just listen to what to what the advocate has said himself. Machine political incorrect. I'm not going to call anyone. It's early in the morning. I don't want to fight with people. Thank you very much. Bye.